I auditioned, and it was like a huge thing, and all these inner city youth came to sing, and you would get selected. If you got selected, you would be able to sing the anthem for 4 home games for the Nets. And I got selected, and I won. I sang the anthem. They were like, all right, you're gonna be our anthem girl for the New Jersey Nets. I'm singing at that game. One of the creators of THQAT comes down to where we were sitting after I sang and was like, we're putting together a group, called Little Women. We want her to audition. Would she be open to, and me, honestly, at 12 or 13, I think I was 13, I was like, I'm not a group member. I said, I'm a solo artist, just for, y'all to know. Just so you know, right. I'm a solo artist. But okay, because I said, I'm gonna be Whitney, and right. Whitney ain't in no group. That's how I was initially looking at it. But then I was like, you know what? We all gotta crawl before we walk.
Right.
Naturi NAUGHTON is proof that God will give you beauty for ashes. This East Orange, New Jersey native, wife and mother of 2, was once part of the girl group 3LW with chart toppers like No More and Players Gon' Play. Naturi left the group in 2002 thinking she was done with entertainment and went on to higher education at Seton Hall, where she went to study political science. She later went back into entertainment in the form of Broadway in the musical Hairspray, where she played Lola Inez. She later starred in television roles like Playboys Club and Fame. She also starred in the critically acclaimed Notorious, where she played Little Kim. But she had no idea that her role in Power as Tasha St. Patrick would make her a household name and span over 10 seasons. She also did a show called Queens on ABC with Eve and Brandy that was canceled after 1 season. But now she has evolved into a director and producer, and a film hitting the festivals, The Color Book, and a film soon to hit called 333. With her husband, Tu Lewis, they started their own production company entitled Take-Two Entertainment. Naturi proves that you can come back bigger, better, and stronger.
You are tuned in to another episode of Behind the Scenes Beauty. I am your host, Derek Monroe, and today you have a special treat. She is a singer, she is an actress, she is a director, she is a writer, she is a producer. She is a mother of 2 and a wife. She is the all of many things, the Miss Naturi NAUGHTON, right?
Oh, yes.
See? I'm on it. I am on it.
You are always on it. I love that. Thank you. Thank you for that glorious introduction.
Listen, you don't realize how much you be doing until somebody tells you, right?
I know. Well, you be like, wait a minute, I did all of that in my 39, 40 years? That's amazing.
Baby, you've been putting it down.
I am trying. I'm blessed, and I'm excited for us to hang out.
I am excited, too.
I feel like we go way back, and I don't get to see you that much, so this is nice to have an intimate moment.
It is, because we really don't. You are special to me. You're a trademark to me, because when I first moved to New York, you were like one of my first editorials with Essence.
Really?
You were. You were my first celebrity with Essence. I had never did it. So you and Amari.
That was fun.
That was fun. And that was right at the beginning of Power.
It was at the beginning of Power. And I remember that, funny enough, that's in my press kit. And all the time I look back and I'm like, my short hair, I loved how I look. I was young.
Your little swoop.
Yeah, the little swoop. I did this for you today, Derek. But I was just like, that Essence photo shoot was one of my first features in Essence, as, outside of the group, outside of, as an actress and being a lead, opposite Omari Hardwick. That was so much fun. And that shoot just was a staple for me too. And you did such a great job. So it's kind of cool to be a part of each other's story.
Yes, and you are definitely woven into my story.
Thank you.
Now, I always start in people's beginnings, but I do want to touch on the fact that since we're talking about Power, that it's coming to a close. How you feeling?
Ooh, I'm feeling okay. It's like, I feel like Power coming to an end is a little bit like the end of an era, essentially. And I'm excited that, I've been a part of something that has been a part of the culture, changed the culture, pushed a narrative, and also got people to see a chocolate girl like me as a leading lady opposite beautiful Omari Hardwick, right? So I think that although it's ending, I feel really accomplished. I feel really proud, of myself. And it's going to be, you never know, because Tasha's still alive. So,
Listen, it could be Tasha Power Book 54.
I know, Power Book 78. By the time they get to me, it'll be Power Book 91. No, but it is exciting. And it, honestly, the show has really been a part of people's lives in a real way. Like when people call me Tasha, I think it's because they've really connected with this character.
Yeah.
And that's a testament to me as an actress. So I'm happy.
I connected with the character because first of all, when we did it, the show hadn't started. I didn't know anything about the show at the time.
It
was about to be released.
That's crazy. Was that the very, very, very?
That was we on the tippy top.
Yeah.
I remember that specific day they were laying out Omari because they still wanted him to be a part of being Mary Jane, and they were mad.
They were mad at him, child. But we took him.
Y'all took him,
and it just created his career went. Whoosh, he's killed it.
I do have a question though, because I was wondering. I was like, she is so baby face. You still to this day don't age. You look like you did from 3LW.
You know what's funny? Yes, that's all of what people are always saying. So what's your question?
So my question though is, did they give you a hard time believing that you could take the role of Tasha St. Pat?
Absolutely. Let me tell you something. I was 29 years old, 10 years younger than Omari, by the way. At that time, the audition process, I was living in North Hollywood, and they were just like, she's good, but she's just way too young. We've got to cast someone in their 30s. They wanted someone like mid-30s. And I didn't read mature enough or old enough. And I was like, just give me another shot. I came back, honey, I went to Hervé Leger and bought me a sexy dress. I put a long weave on, contoured my face. I beat this. I just said, I need to create, and I deepened my voice too. For the role of Tasha, I don't, I speak a little bit more cheery. And I think when I went back for that second, audition, I tried to show maturity. And then I got to the camera test with Omari, the chemistry read. And that's really what changed the game. Because for a long time, they were just like, she's too young, she's too young. And Courtney said that she changed the role she wrote it younger. When she said that you're right for this, she was like, I don't care what age you are Tasha. She rewrote the character to be 30 instead of 35.
Wow. Because I'm all caught up.
Yeah.
So I'm watching it. I'm all caught up.
Ooh, the last episode got me in my feelings.
Wait a minute, then. Wait a minute.
The last episode with Mary J, but I don't.
Oh, wait a minute. I ain't caught up there.
I was like, no spoilers, because there are some things.
Because too, what happened was you guys just started coming on another streaming site, and I think I started watching old episodes. For some reason, I said, let me watch what the very first episode.
Ooh, so you went back to the original.
I did go. I did go back, and I was sitting and I was thinking to myself, were you nervous with those nude scenes?
Yes, I had done it before though with Naturi.
With Notorious.
I played Little Kim, and when I played Little Kim, that was definitely a very vulnerable, dangerous place for me. It was scary, I would say, not even dangerous, but I was nervous. And I think once I had released that fear of judgment, I was like, okay, this is the character, and this is what the character is doing because it's purposeful, it's not gratuitous. When I got Power, I was a little nervous, but the safety net for me was having a co-star like Omari Hardwick, who was like a big brother. He was very comforting. It was very safe. Our sex scenes were, very dramatic and I think cinematic. They did them in a way that you could see what was going on in the characters' emotions and their heads. It wasn't just sex. If you notice, Power sex scenes, even with Angie, every time Ghost was intimate, and even Tasha with Sean, it was a purpose behind what she was doing. She used that as a form of manipulation in a lot of ways. So I was nervous. However, we had such professionalism on our set. That's one thing. It's like choreography. People don't understand. Sex scenes are not sexy.
Gotcha.
They are choreographed to a T. Like, okay, touch here, there we go. Okay, now we're gonna go here, touch my butt. So once you get comfortable with the choreography, it's like a dance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, did you imagine that it would go as long as it has? Like when you read it the first time, what were your thoughts like?
I always thought this show had the potential to do extremely well, but I did not think it was gonna be 10 years from now and I'll be sitting here still talking about it because shows are so risky. Some shows I had done before Power, like the Playboy Club was an NBC show that had a huge,
I remember that.
huge budget, billboards all over, and it was supposed to be a big thing. 3 episodes and we got canceled.
Right.
Queens, for example, with Eve and Brandy, and I'm thinking, we're on ABC, this is a no-brainer, come on Disney. They canceled us in 1 season. So I guess to me, the gamble with television or with anything now in film is that you just have to just do your best and hope that it connects. People with Power just really connected to the story, the characters. And once because I read it and I was like, oh, this is good. Oh, I want to get this. I hoped that it would have, 3, 4 seasons. Sometimes you think, oh, if we get 3 seasons, that's incredible. I didn't know we were going to be here 10 years later, still in spinoff from spinoff from spinoff.
Right.
But I'm grateful and I'm really, really blessed.
I'm excited. I love the show.
Yeah,
and I've been a
you.
fan ever since.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go to your beginnings. So you in East Orange, New Jersey.
Yes, born and raised.
You are only child?
No, I have an older brother.
Okay.
Just one brother. He's 13 years older than me.
Okay, so who says let's sing? Where does that come from? Because I know you started singing at 3. And
at 5.
Five.
Yeah.
Started singing at 5.
In New Hope Baptist Church.
New Hope Baptist Church. You got to sing for Sissy Houston.
Yeah, I did. And at Whitney Houston's church, and I got to meet Whitney. May she rest. She was actually my idol growing up. I wanted to be just like Whitney Houston. But singing, for me, it was like I knew, I want to join the choir. But my brother actually used to sing as well. So my older brother was in the choir, but he also had a group like Boys to Men. And I used to listen to, when I was a kid and listen to all the harmonies. And I'd be like, wow, and then music. And then when I saw Bodyguard and Whitney Houston and different things like that, I was like, maybe I can actually really do this as my career. Sometimes as a kid, you think this is just fun, but then I was like, oh, this is actually what I want to do in my life as my purpose, as my dream and my goal. And my parents and my dad, rest in peace to my dad, he was like, you can do anything. You will be great. You are talented. And he and my mom were like, this dream is very possible. So let's get you in piano lessons. Let's take dance lessons. I studied, music. I studied voice. I did all those things to prepare me for the dream. So you can't just say you want to do something and not be willing to do the work. So
Gotcha.
I got the opportunity to sing in my church choir, and literally my first solo was I Can't Forget. It was like a song the youth choir sang, and then I never stopped singing since because the church was on fire that day.
Okay, so how did you end up singing the national anthem, which sort of helped to lead you to getting...
Oh my gosh, a lot of people don't know that.
See?
Back then, I was like the national anthem singer
in
Jersey. I used to sing for all the inaugurations for the mayor, the governor of New Jersey. All the mayors of different cities used to be like, oh, this little girl from East Orange, can sing the anthem to start off the program. So what happened was, because I was singing the national anthem in so many local places, someone had said that there was a competition at Continental Arena. This is before the Brooklyn Nets were the Brooklyn Nets. They were the New Jersey Nets.
Yep.
For people who don't know, y'all youngins may not remember the New Jersey Nets with Kerry Kittles and all the people, Stephon Marbury. But at that time, I auditioned, and it was like a huge thing, and all these inner city youth came to sing, and you would get selected. If you got selected, you would be able to sing the anthem for 4 home games for the Nets. And I got selected, and I won. I sang the anthem. They were like, all right, you're gonna be our anthem girl for the New Jersey Nets. I'm singing at that game. One of the creators of THQAT comes down to where we were sitting after I sang and was like, we're putting together a group, called Little Women. We want her to audition. Would she be open to, and me, honestly, at 12 or 13, I think I was 13, I was like, I'm not a group member. I said, I'm a solo artist, just for,
Just
y'all
so
to
you
know.
know.
Just so you know,
Right.
I'm a solo artist. But okay, because I said, I'm gonna be Whitney, and
Right.
Whitney ain't in no group. That's how I was initially looking at it. But then I was like, you know what? We all got to crawl before we walk.
Right. I'm willing. I'm 12.
So I auditioned for this group, once called Little Women, then became 3LW. I went down to Newark, Irvington, New Jersey, sang For You I Will by Monica. I never forget it. I just was like, let me give this a shot. And then that day I was in the group. They were like, so yeah.
So
but the anthem really did give me the opportunity to be seen on a larger scale.
Yes.
So I'm always singing the national anthem. And to this day, I still do.
Oh, wow.
I still love to sing. I sang for the Brooklyn Nets not too long ago.
Nobody told me. I would have came just to see you. Forget the game. I would have came to see Naturi.
Well, if there's ever, I'll let you know.
Please do.
I got you.
Let me know. Okay, so just when you guys started as a group, because it's this hodgepodge of them taking people that they think are gonna make good talent. Was there ever a real friendship in the beginning? Like, did y'all feel like, oh my God, these are my sisters?
For sure, yes. It evolved into that. It didn't start, we were put together, obviously, the group of 3LW. However, I felt like they became the sisters that I always wished I had, because I only had an older brother. So with 3LW, we got to live together. We had bunk beds. We traveled the world together. And my first time in London, Paris, all these places was with 3LW. So TRL tour, NSYNC, Pop Odyssey tour, Destiny's Child, when they were, the original Destiny's Child, I was on tour with them back then.
As well as 3LW and Dream, Eve and Jessica Simpson. Don't mind me, I'm just cruising around. Oh no, I'll get over here. I'll get where I'm supposed to be. Hi, ladies.
Hi, Carson.
Oh, I like the way you say that. That sounds nice. The headliners of the TRL tour. I guess I should say thank you, first of all.
No, we should say thank you and MTV for supporting Destiny's Child.
And I'm thinking, what? I was just bumping the tape to Writings on the Wall or the CD, and now I'm sitting here. It was unbelievable to me. So yes, there was a sisterhood, and I don't ever, want to make it like it was always bad. Right. It just, unfortunately, the music business is crazy and people are crazy, but it just turned into a very, I think, dysfunctional, toxic situation for me. But the relationship initially was 3 young girls who were just excited to do music and be like TLC and Destiny's Child. We just wanted to make our dreams a reality, and we did that together. So there was a friendship initially.
Okay. So when the group disbanded, were you afraid to enter back into entertainment? Like, did you think, oh, if I had that experience, if I go out to do my own thing, I'm scared now?
Very. Child, I was traumatized because I just was like, I am done with y'all. I actually did say I'm not ever getting back into the entertainment business. I went to college at Seton Hall University. I studied political science. I was really determined to separate myself from that world because I wanted people to know that I was more than just the girl from 3LW. So I went to school. I wanted to be a lawyer. I was a straight A student. I loved, coming from Jersey, and Seton Hall was right down the street. So for me, I was like, okay, I can redefine myself and do something different. Obviously my purpose and my goal is to do, entertainment. So fortunately, I got into Broadway and got Hairspray. And so I got it back in the business, but I never really got back in the music business because that situation really did break my heart. And a lot of people don't really realize, once you have, that was my first real heartbreak. It wasn't a boyfriend. It wasn't because I was on tour 15, 16. I didn't go to prom. Yeah. I didn't graduate from high school. I didn't get to throw the cap and gown, and I didn't get to figure out, are you gonna have sex tonight on prom night? Who's gonna do it? Are you gonna do it? Lose your virginity? I was too busy trying to figure out what's our next tour date and what are we wearing and when, do I have dance rehearsal? Right. So for me, that section of my childhood was so lost and a little bit taken away in a time when I would have loved to have had those moments. But looking back, I realized that because of that heartbreak and that pain, I think I just decided I can still be successful and still be an artist, but just in a different way. It's just like visual artists, there's photography, there's music, there's writers, there's all different ways, there's acting. I don't have to just be in the music business to be happy.
All right. Did you go into a depression? Especially when you sit there and see now they cheat a girl.
Oh.
And they on the Disney Channel doing the little wand and stuff. What is going through your mind?
I was mad.
When you feel
Derek.
like
I
your
was mad.
enemies are prospering.
Ooh, I don't, that's deep. I just felt really angry. I'm not even gonna lie. I really was upset because I actually felt robbed of an opportunity that came to all of us. And then it became so lucrative. Whenever I was like, Cheetah Girls this, Cheetah Girls 3, and then it was making so much money. There was a Cheetah Girls tour, there's a Cheetah Girls movie, then Cheetah Girls 1, 2, 3, and 4. I said, now wait a minute, okay? While I'm broke, sitting at home, a college student, mind you, I had a scholarship and had to, finagle just to get through college.
Right.
And I could barely buy a car. After a platinum selling album, I had just enough money to buy a 1994 BMW's 325 Ci. And I remember thinking like, I had nothing to show for it. I had nothing to show for all the work I put in 4 years. And that was the problem. So when I saw that, to be honest with you, I was angry. At first I was angry. Then I got really sad, maybe a little bit emotionally depressed, because I was like, why, God, am I the one that's not getting to benefit from all the work and time I had put in? And I remember even seeing Raven, years later, and we're friendly and she's super cool. And she was like, girl, she was like, give me a hug, because you know who was you was supposed, she was like, I didn't even want to do it without you. I was feeling the type of way. And I was like, oh, I never would have known that. She was like, no, we were behind the scenes rooting for you. Then somehow they just put other random person in Cheetah Girls that wasn't part of 3LW. But originally the pitch was 3LW plus Raven Simone would be the Cheetah Girls.
Oh, wow.
So I did feel a little angry about that.
As well you should have. Okay, so...
Good, though.
So how did you work up the nerve to audition for Broadway? Like, how did the hairspray thing come about? Like, you went through all of this and somebody say, oh, you should audition for this, and you thinking what?
I remember being in college at the time. My boyfriend, I was like, let's see, in my early 20s, I don't even remember exactly. He actually didn't tell me that he submitted my headshot and resume. This is a funny story that a lot of people don't know. I didn't intentionally audition for Hairspray.
What?
Yes. I was kind of put into a situation. I was like, why did you do that? He gave me on Valentine's Day, it was actually kind of sweet at the time. And this was my first ever real boyfriend from Union, New Jersey. For Valentine's Day, he put in the card, I just don't want you to ever give up on your dream. You're so talented. And he was like, so just so you know, you have an audition with Bernard Telsey Casting for a Broadway musical next week. Here's the sheet music. And then he gave me all that. And I was like reading sheet. And at the time, it wasn't for Hairspray, it was for Rent, the musical Rent. And I was like, I love this musical. I know this show. And he was like, yeah, well, you better learn it because you have an audition next week on Wednesday at 3:00 at Bernie Telsey. And I was like, what? What kind of... I have had some good boyfriends, and now I done married an amazing husband. I think I just did okay. Right. But he literally made me see that there was another way to sing. I would have never, I was so thinking like, music business, I'm done, or I'll be an actress, or I will just do, I never thought about Broadway. I'm just being honest. He was like, well, what if, you could do all the things you love in one place? And then I was like, yeah, maybe you're right. I was like, oh my gosh, so I'll prepare. And then I started working on the audition materials. And yeah, I went up there and sang for them. And I didn't get the part, but they were like, you look so young. You're way too young for the role in Joanne in Rent. But they were like,
that baby face working again.
I know. But working for me, the baby face worked for me, because then they said, but you look so young, you'll be perfect for Little Inez in Hairspray. And Tevin Campbell was in that, Jennifer Lewis, Darlene Love, before Jennifer Lewis came. I had the best 3 years of my life on that show, and it really changed my life because it gave me a chance to sing, dance, and perform without the drama of the music business. So that was all not my doing.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's an amazing story. Yeah, it's kind of
crazy. That's actually how that happened.
And wow. And I knew that, but I'm like, I didn't even know that.
No, you wouldn't know that. That's not something I've ever talked about, really.
I love we get exclusives on here.
I was like, because that's not, it never comes up. So this just felt like it's a
good
safe
moment.
Space.
Yeah. Oh, that was dope, though. I mean,
we broke up, a year later, but hey. I'm still great. He served his purpose. I'm very grateful for you, my former boo. Okay. And it all worked out for the greater good.
It worked out. Okay, so let's talk about Notorious.
Okay.
All right.
Let's talk about it.
So this is your first.
All right.
So this is your first film, right?
It was. It was my first film ever on like major, studio level scale. I had done TV a little bit with 3LW. We did the show Hyena on Disney. For a movie of this caliber, Fox Searchlight, major people were in it about Biggie and his journey, and Derek Luke, Puffy, and so many people were in this. And Angela Bassett played Biggie's. I was just like, how is this even a reality for me? When I got that part after many, many rounds of auditions and very difficult process, I knew that the game was about to change for me, because I was like, I'm going hard. I'm going all in. George Tillman, shout out to George. And, he believed in me as a director. Casting directors, Wendy McKenzie and Twinkie Bird, really believed in me and supported me the whole way. So it really, all it takes, and this is just something, for your viewers, all it takes is one yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, all those notes, when you get, it's literally that one. When I got that yes, because I almost maybe wasn't going to get that because they wanted a celebrity in that role, and I was a newcomer, it changed my life. And that one yes propelled an entire career that led me to sitting here with you.
So people could see you more in that acting space.
And I knew it was going to be a challenging role, and I knew it would be provocative, because Little Kim is obviously, and she's a hip hop icon, but she's risque, she's daring, she's out, she's in your face, she's not afraid. I said, I have to take on that same energy.
Right.
But I grew up in a whole different type of background. I went to Catholic school. I was very conservative. My parents, I was in church. The church was like, oh, so you gonna be naked? What they gonna, so Little Kim with the legs spread poster? I said, well, it's not me, it's a character. But I loved playing Little Kim, and I actually, had a lot of respect for her. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to meet her on the process of shooting, but I wanted to, and I still, to this day, I enjoyed that role. And I hope that the community of hip hop and everyone really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. I thought it was
had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so have you, I know she didn't necessarily love, did you ever know why?
I mean, just from what I read, I think it was just, I was told, my look, and just that she didn't pick me. She didn't want me, and that actually brought back, funny enough, at that time, a lot of those same insecurities that I was dealing with coming out of 3LW. So it was like, God dang, like, here we are again, not feeling good enough, not being pretty enough, not being wanted, being shunned to the side, or my complexion being an issue, oh, she's too dark to play me. There was so many elements that I had heard, and again, I never heard directly from her, so I don't know. She could have her own reasons, and that's really for her. But for me, just knowing that, she didn't feel that it was the right choice, it definitely hurt my feelings. But, I know now that I have no ill will or ill blood. I was just excited to step into a role as my first movie that was iconic, and I did my best to bring her justice. I mean, she is a legend, and I wanted to do my best, and I'm glad that people enjoyed it.
I think you did it.
Thank you.
I want to ask you this question because you brought up because I think people could look at you and think, okay, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
Like I said, you have baby face, skin, you don't age.
Oh, Lord.
And you're singing,
crack.
you're on these amazing shows. And so people don't look at you and think that these are these moments of insecurities where, and especially as a brown girl, because a lot of times brown girls aren't respected. I mean, they're getting love now as we are progressing.
Opening up.
Yeah, but
it's so true.
I'm sure definitely at your time coming up and you're with the Latina girl and the light-skinned girl, especially during the video era, because that was the video era.
Now you talking, because if you remember the video era, all them girls was the same look.
Yep, and they might throw in one brown girl, but
maybe.
Yeah, and she wasn't.
She was in the back.
Exactly. So how have you worked through that? You know what I'm saying? How have you sort of came to your own self-peace about it?
I think my faith, my support through my family, parents, friends, I don't think that it's so funny because now I'm not in that space. So when I think back to that version of me who didn't feel enough or wanted, or, you know, the colorism issue within our community is so deeply rooted in what has happened to us as Black people in this country. So I just feel a simple empathy for people who do have issues, like who are like, oh, you ain't that. I'm like, no, that's something wrong with you, because ain't nothing wrong with me. So now what I do is don't take it on. I don't take on your issues with my color, my complexion, my body type, my height, my look. If it ain't for you, that's fine, but I'm not gonna take that on, boo, because I'm in a space, I look in the mirror and I'm so happy with what I see. But getting to this point took a lot of, you know, self-reflective moments, stepping away from the industry for a time, even being a regular kid, like going to college and having friends and doing things that weren't connected to the industry. And that's so important. You have to remember to have a life outside of this, because if you only value yourself based on what people say you are, then you could lose your value in an instant within yourself. So I think just separating myself a little bit, giving myself the time to mature and see who I really am and not based on what my looks were. And, you know, my faith in God. And I just think I got through that because I know that I was only being tested. And here I am standing before you as a living and breathing testimony that you can get through feelings of insecurity or even depression, or you can. So I think that's just a testament of my faith.
Yeah. Okay. So you are far away from the music industry. You're like, let them have it.
Yeah,
I heard you say
it.
the other ones can have it. So I have a two-part question, because Jermaine Dupri made the reference that a lot of the music today is lacking something because they're not in church. So there's missing a lot of soul. Would you agree with that first part of the question?
Yeah, when did you say that? That's good.
Young Black youth of today do not go to church, and they don't have that church band grooming. Like B. Cox came from the church, right?
Right.
Jodeci comes from church. Like, so when you listen to that soul, that soul that you think is soul, it's
that's coming from over there.
Yeah, it's an added piece of information that if you're gonna make these records, it's hard to beat Jodeci when you don't have that element.
You don't have,
you know what I mean? You don't have
that soul. You don't have that.
That's an element. So it's like when people be saying, "Yo, music ain't the way it used to be." Like I just posted my new Anthony Hamilton record is coming out October 4th. Yeah, Queen, right? Yeah. Anthony Hamilton comes from the church.
I don't know. It was on some interview I saw him, but he did say that, like, a lot of them, like Brian Cox and Michael Cox, because they all have that church background.
Yeah, and they know music.
They have soul, so they bring something.
That's interesting.
So do you, one, agree with that? And two, who are the artists that you see today that you sort of listen to? Who is Naturi listening to?
Okay, that's interesting. I would probably agree with some of that, what Jermaine Dupri said, because I don't know, there is something about the music that we were once making, and it's also musicianship, like the piano. It's not just beats, it was music. So even if you were creating a fun song, you knew the chords, the musicality of it. And, one of my producer friends, we grew up together. He's like a big producer, but we grew up in church. He played the piano, Eric Hudson. He's done records for Kanye, Mary J, Usher. He has a song out right now, Chris Brown, like record. So Eric Hudson knows music, and he played the piano, plays drums, guitar, bass. When you did have a little bit of that church background, and I'm not saying you can only get it from church, but a lot of who we are and that root of soul comes from some of those chords and some of that sound. So I would agree. And then I guess that's why, I like all different kinds of music, but I'm an R&B head. I love R&B. I'm still, Beyonce's fan till I die. She do no wrong. She's my girl. Right. I gotta give it to her, because that woman works hard, okay? Yeah. And you can't take nothing away from that lady. And I would say that I'm really into, what's the artist, Friday? I really like Friday.
Not familiar, now. So
He's
now you
so dope. He's a Black artist, I think from like the West Coast, but his music is R&B mixed with that undertone of like maybe a Caribbean, I think he's Haitian American. Friday, I love Afro beats, Davido, Burna Boy. Oh yeah, Tim's.
Yep.
I'm just like, cause I also am Caribbean as well, and my background is Crucian. My dad was born in St. Croix, so I think music of that culture just automatically just hits my inner spirit. I don't even know, it's not even intentional. I just be like, ooh.
Pop it. Hey.
Afro beats.
Yeah.
So, you know, I do get excited when I hear that. But R&B right now, I'm really like, I love, what's the girl? Coco Jones.
Yes.
I'm really proud of her. And I just love, like, just the style of R&B music. Of course, the people that I've always loved that I still love is Usher. Let me just say. Usher can do
Did you come to
too.
Brooklyn?
Oh, I went to Vegas. And I was invited to the friends and family.
Oh, excuse me.
I was out there with you, Asha.
Excuse me.
And he shouted me out in the audience and came and set up. It was amazing. I love Usher, but he's the real one for me. His music is just transcended time. It's just timeless. But young up and comers that I'm listening to is Coco Jones, because I think it's again a resurgence of R&B. If you listen to all the music that and everybody's like, like they're singing all her songs and just feeling like it's a vibe. We're getting it because now we're reminded, oh, music is still alive. And it's alive in us. We just gotta bring it back and make it popular again. And I think R&B is still alive and well.
Okay. So you've been you were part of the Lifetime Missing Black Girls series.
I was.
I'm an advisor, and you are one of my students transferring mid-semester to a top HBCU.
You are a fighter.
My fight is money.
A Lifetime original movie ripped from the headlines.
I can tell that you feel invisible on this campus, but this college takes care of its students.
Yo, you wanna rap?
No, I'm good.
Inspired by actual stories.
Police department, how may I direct your call?
I'd like to report a missing person.
From executive producer Garcelle Beauvais.
I want to go home.
This is home.
Naturi Naughton.
Clearly, these girls are being victimized.
Don't you even care?
A student disappearing off campus is not a crime.
You can't save every girl.
I'm not trying to save every girl.
Wakey.
I'm trying to save one.
Abducted.
And then you've become on this directing and producing. You have your own production company with your husband.
Take Two Entertainment. Yes, thank you.
So how are you feeling? Like, what's like you've been these iterations of you. Exactly. Like, so how did this part of you come about?
I'm a really big proponent of pivoting and evolving, and even what you're doing, I'm like, I love it. Because we can never let people put us in a box.
Amen.
And you know what I'm saying? Okay, because they will try.
They will definitely try.
But you gotta be like, oh no, and then I'm also doing this, and I'm also doing that. So, you know, just check me out over here.
Okay.
And if you wanna support, great. If not, that's okay. But for me, directing is something I've always wanted to do since like season 5 of Power, when I realized like, oh, this is really an exciting part of the storytelling process, the behind the scenes, and producing as well. I think now I'm stepping into it because I'm mature enough to do so. I have way more depth as a human, as a mother, and as a wife. I know a lot more about life, so I can tell stories more, I think, holistically. I definitely, starting Take Two Entertainment was something me and my husband too talked about. Last year, just recently, really, we launched our company and we've already produced a film that premiered at Tribeca and has won the Critics' Jury Award.
Is that the coloring book?
The Color Book.
What is Color Book? Sorry.
Starring Will Catlett.
Okay.
Who is amazing.
Oh, yes, he was in, oh my God, the show.
He's in Halle Berry's movie right now, but he's also was in Love Is.
Yes, I loved him.
I know all his stuff because I'm such a huge fan. Shout out to Will. Will Catlett stars in this movie, and it's about a Black father really trying to get his son, who has special needs, Down syndrome, and losing his mother, and grieving in that process of them trying to get to his first baseball game. So as a father and son, it's really, I think, a journey of how to deal with the aspects of raising a child with special needs, but also how to navigate grief and what to do with that. So Color Book, directed by an amazing Black filmmaker, David Fortune. It was such a beautiful film. It was shot in Atlanta. Tu and I decided to come on board and invest in it and support it and bring it to fruition along with Tribeca. And it's a beautiful film that I'm really proud of. And just being an executive producer on it, I know this is gonna, we're gonna make sure it lands somewhere special. So that's one. And then directing for me is different than producing because a little bit more invested as a, like I am the leader of the pack in a way, and I have to tell this story. It's a lot harder, I will say. Directing is a lot of pressure and a lot of eyes are on you to make sure that—
Because your hands are in everything.
And you have to
small
approve
stuff
everything.
that people don't think about.
Correct. Like
hair,
props,
makeup, location.
Because you have to look at all these things. And I shot my first short film just last year called 333, which will be out in 2025 in the film festival circuit. I just believe and now realize that I have so much to say, and that's why it's a natural progression. Outside of power and acting, I have so much to offer in the stories and the ideas and the concepts that I have that will further inspire and hopefully show Black people in all of our multiplicity. Why are we often shown as one-dimensional characters? Why are we often the best friend or the silly, guess what I could do that. I could do that role too now.
Right.
I can be all the girls.
Right.
But let's show all of our friends, our uncles, our aunties, our cousins, our parents. And there is so many layers to Black life and the Black experience that I think as a director, I want to tap into that.
Okay, so what do you look for as a production company now?
Ooh.
What is the material that you're looking for?
Yeah, it's a lot coming at us now.
Yeah, exactly.
Lately, it's like, woo. I'm a little overwhelmed.
Do you have something that you're already conceived in your mind of like, I want to produce these kind of stories per se, or are you just open to what comes and see if it grabs you?
That's actually a really great question, Derek. I think with the company and Take-Two Entertainment, what I look for as a producer, or if it's something we're gonna like take on and help produce, I usually think about what's relatable in these characters or this story. Whether it be TV, film, it doesn't matter. I'm open to a lot of different things. I'll tell anybody, are these characters and are these people telling the truth? That's the first thing. The other thing that I think is something that I would like to gravitate our projects towards are stories that showcase Black and brown people, honestly. It's not that I won't do a story with other people or a project. It's just I am most informed by and most impassioned by stories that reflect the Black experience. And that's one. And then I just think I have an affinity towards like love. The next project I'm gonna direct is actually a romantic film, like in the rom-com space. Very excited about that. I love Jones, Love and Basketball, Brown Sugar. Like, I don't know, I grew up in
classics.
the 90s.
Yeah.
And all these things just made me feel like, ooh, look at us.
Yeah.
Like, we are real and we're human and we have drama, but we also have fun. And I just think those are the things that I try to gear towards. Like Spike Lee is one of my inspirations. Anthony Hemingway, who, I worked with on Power, and he's done so many films. George Hill. The people that I'm working with now, I'm like, I've literally looked up to you. So if I can tell a story that is focused on our experience, focused on, empathy and reality and Black dimensional life, I'm all for it. So I'm super open.
Okay. So if you're doing all of these things, how are you doing that and being a mother of two?
I know, a baby.
How is that working?
It's very challenging. Oh my gosh. Prayer, prayer. Support, no, really. I have an amazing supportive husband. I have, my mom, who is still, she's such a great grandma. And both of my parents, before losing my dad, were very involved in every aspect of my children's lives. But my mom is still, such a great support system. You definitely need a nanny, child. I got a nanny. And I would say, and that's just logistics of how that's happening. The other part of how it's happening is balance and recognize that it's okay if you can't do it all. And it's okay if it takes me, I'm patient. And I didn't always used to be that way. If something takes me a year to 2 years. I can be developing something. I'm developing a story that I knew I wanted to do in 2022 that I just got the rights to, praise God. And getting the TV and film rights exclusively for our company is a big get. And when I tell this story and do this movie, it's going to be massive. But I know that it's probably not going to come out until 2027. That's just realistically because I got to write the script. I got to develop it. I got to get a partnership with, I got to sell the story. I need a studio because I'm going to need a lot of money. And, you know, at the end of the day, you got to know that if it takes 2 to 3 years in development, is it worth it for you? And that's why you have to be selective and not just do any and everything.
I mean, thankfully I get to work with Whoopi all the time, and watching her do Teal. That like
what was that process like for?
Like an 8 or 9.
That was so good.
Like an 8 or 9 year process.
To do Teal?
Yeah.
It took that long? You knew about that long ago?
Yeah.
Ooh, now that kind of patience would test
when
me.
When I first started working with her, she was trying to play Mamie Teal. She aged out.
She aged out.
She aged out.
Because so much time had passed.
Them trying to just get the movie up.
They
and
did
even
a beautiful job. That was good.
Yeah, and the guy that sort of helped to write the script, Mamie Teal was even still living. Like he knew her in her tail end part of her life. So to see people
and I'm
don't
sure
really
the
realize.
script went through multiple iterations.
And the same thing with Sister Act 3. Like,
oh yeah,
still working.
I'm obsessed with that. Whoopi called me. I am available for Sister Act 3 because I'm obsessed. I've seen all of them.
Yes, so it's still working, working, trying to, and you know, real sad.
And if Whoopi, and this just goes to show you, people at every level are dealing with that same frustration of like, I just need to get this done. There's so much red tape in the process. It is frustrating, but like you said, and now when it came out, it was beautiful. And I'm sure she felt, you know, a sense of reward
accomplishment,
because 8 years. But thank God she stuck with it.
She stuck with it.
Good for her.
Yep. So what does, which is normally my final question that I ask people all the time.
Okay.
What does Naturi Naughton-Lewis find beauty in?
Ooh, what do I find beauty in? I find beauty in a good game night.
Oh, I love a game night. What's your game?
I'm upset. Oh, Taboo. Don't come for me because I will knock your ass out. I win in everything, but particularly Taboo. But I'm very competitive. But like, I find beauty in fellowship. So like, if I can get a bunch of people that are dope in a room together, we can play games, talk, even spiritually connect. I feel like, oh wow, look around. You know how you look at a room like, this is beautiful. Because like, I've now connected this person with that person. That's what me and my husband pride ourselves in, connective tissue. Being the connective tissue in a room full of amazing people that may not have been able to know each other. So a good game night, I find beauty in that. I also, long-term long friendships. Some of my best friends I've known since 3rd grade. And it brings me to tears sometimes because I realize, you know, a lot of people lose friends along the way in this business, and they can't always, some people, you outgrow each other, or they, you know, there's resentment. There's always something with friendships that as you grow, you have to almost examine, like, are we growing in the same direction or at the same pace? Every relationship has that, and you have to be honest about that. But the beautiful thing is when you have a long friendship. My best friend, Melissa, for example, shout out to Melissa, she has literally watched me evolve and become a woman, and vice versa. And I mean, each other's weddings, our families. I just, you know, we've gone through losses, ups and downs, and I'm so grateful for friendship. So there's beauty in that. And then one other thing I'll say, I find beauty every time I look at my children. You know, when I look at True and Zuri, like into their twinkly, beautiful eyes, I see the future. And I know that sounds cliche, and that's why it's so important that we vote and that we get active and utilize our voices, you know, in this particular election. But we have to maintain, you know, our idealism and our dreams for the future. If we don't dream, we have nothing to live for. And beauty is in our dreams. And that's what our children are really. They are literally our dreams realized when we go.
Yes. You gave probably one of the best answers I've had in a while, because everybody gives such, they give very cookie cutter, like, you know, I find beauty in, well, they give great ones. Not to say that, I don't want to, they say like quietness and stuff like that. I've heard all of that. But that was so good at like
Thank you.
bringing people together. I enjoyed that one for some because I enjoy a game night.
Then we will be inviting you to the next game night.
Please,
Come
I will
through,
be
just
there.
bring some snacks or a dish or something.
Just know, please, let's still have a friendship because I'm going to talk junk and smack the whole time from spades, Uno, whatever it is. Too. I just don't need your feelings hurt afterwards,
don't
okay?
be reneging in my house. And no Uno.
Baby,
I'm all for it.
Listen.
So you're invited.
I just want to make sure that we can shake hands.
We can do it. We're going to still be friends
We're going to be friends in the end.
Okay. When you lose, I'm going to still love you.
And listen, I don't want to have to hurt your feelings in your house.
It's okay.
That's all I need to
It's
know.
okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Naturi. Is there anything you want to tell the people? Let's tell everything what they need to be on the lookout for.
I think, funny enough, you covered a lot because you did your research, baby.
Baby, I don't play no games.
This one right here is made for this because I got to talk about a lot of things. I'll just say continue to follow me at Naturi for Real. Also follow my production company at THQAT on Instagram. Follow us, continue to support, and stay tuned because there are more amazing things to come.
And listen, you heard her. Please make sure to click like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.